All right, so come into a comfortable seated position. Just meet yourself right where you are. Maybe close your eyes, take a moment to tune into how you feel. And I think that's an important question. Like, how do you feel? It's actually kind of a complex question because we feel a lot of different ways, a lot of different things. So, how do we feel physically? How do we feel mentally? How do we feel emotionally and spiritually? Hi, my love. Come on in. There's a space right here in the front, or there's a space in the back row. You just take your time. Don't rush. Okay. And so when we say, like, how are we? Just think about how complex that is. And it's because each and every one of us is unique and complex in our own way. We all have different things going on in our lives. Some of us celebrating amazing, joyful things. Some of us are in status quo, right? Some of us are really challenged right now, right? And at any given moment, you can be any one of those as life changes. So my question again is just how are you right now in this moment? As we create a little bit of space between whatever is going on outside there in the world, and we come into this container. Within the space of these four walls, surrounded by this energy, this music, my voice, your props, your friends, right? I always feel better when I'm in this space. See if you can notice that. Did something shift from your drive over, or the last time you put your phone down, to right now in this moment? And there's never a right or a wrong answer when we say, how are you? There is really only the truth. My fear is that we don't always answer honestly. And I know I'm speaking from my own experience. A lot of different people throughout the course of the day might ask me that question. And I might not tell everybody exactly what's going on. So just keep sitting with that idea. Let's take 3 breaths together and just try to process and clear whatever came up. So a long breath in and a complete breath out. And we cycle that breath through us 3 times, just feeling again all of the things. And then if you would, just simply uncross and recross your legs. And then start to sort of forfeit your posture. Yeah, let the belly soften. Let yourself slouch into the lower back. Let your shoulders kind of hunch over and let your head drop, chin to chest. Yeah. So completely horrible, worst posture ever, right? And just notice how that feels. Feels different, right? Do you have a judgment about it? Is there a story? It's funny, just sitting up straight or slouching over can change how we feel physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But it's okay spiritually because the teacher asked you to do it, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to have a space for organic movement right now, and I want it to start from this slouchy place. I want you to kind of feel how rounded forward you are, and then just start to let your weight go a little right. So you're rounding right, and then kind of moving back, and then to the left. Yeah. So you kind of make a circle with your body. And then maybe you start to lift up a little bit in the rib cage and you start to let your ribs and shoulders and head kind of swirl with that movement that started at the base. And again, no right or wrong way to do it. But it's, again, how does it feel? Move organically. Oh, I'm hearing a little bit of snap, crackle, pop going on. Yeah. So if you move your shoulders and your neck, if you kind of move through your lower back or your hips, you might get some kind of adjustment. And it's not the goal, but sometimes it happens. And then however you're moving, just slow it down enough that you can change the direction. And start to take it around the other way. And sometimes it feels like you need a second to coordinate that because it's not how you would go naturally, but just let everything in the spine, the shoulders, neck, head, pelvis, let everything have a little bit of that movement. And just make sure you're asking yourself, like, how does it feel? And so yoga is giving us an opportunity to be witness, to be in the experience. And then start to slow that down. Find your center. And then if you would, just take the bolster or the two blankets and put it directly behind you, like a tail. Stick it straight out from your tailbone. Here, I have for you. Are there two blankets back there? Or even like two blocks with one blanket over. So we'll go like this. So turn around and I'll put it behind you. And then the blanket will soften it. Yep. Yeah, that should feel pretty good. So you sit right up to it at your tailbone and then gently lay yourself back onto the support of whatever is behind you. How's that? Okay, good. Try not to move too far forward from it. Does that feel okay? Because you don't have a lot of support under your lower back right now. Yeah, let me see if we can make that. Hold on. I think we can make it a little bit friendlier. Now you can sit a little closer to it. Slide back. There. Yeah? Okay, that exhale says everything. So I want your back and your neck and shoulders to feel supported. Is anyone uncomfortable? So I will come and help you. And then let's just bend our knees and put the soles of our feet flat. Yeah. Make sure your hips stay on the ground. And then move your arms out a little bit so we get a little space under the armpits. And we open up a little space for the breath. Lift your head a little bit. There, try that. A little support. Lift your head for me. Good. You're welcome. Make sure your hips didn't lift up off the mat. You want to make sure that your pelvis is resting on the support of the mat beneath you. And that there isn't too much strain in the neck. We can always put more props behind you if the blankets aren't long enough, like to support your head and neck. Everybody looks pretty happy though. I feel like, okay, I'm done. See you guys. like this is it. Happiness, relaxation, mind, mental focus. So we're going to play a little. Maybe take the arms up a little bit higher, and you'll know when you reach your max. Sometimes I like the feeling of the arms like a Y. Remember YMCA? Remember that silly dance that we always did in the bar? On the bar. Yep, like just on the, let them rest on the ground. Yeah. And then now that the arms are up and out like that, can you get more breath into the upper parts of the lungs? Know that our sitting in that seated position for as long as we did was really just to warm up and loosen up the spine so that we could do this. Heart open wide, back supported, neck supported. Can you separate the upper and lower jaw? Like just letting the airway loosen up just a bit and letting the air flow a little more freely. You okay, Susan? Okay. And then just take the right leg and slide it straight down the mat. Just check in, make sure that feels okay. If it does, then maybe the left one can go down too. An invitation for relaxation. Softening the hips. Give me 1 second. September. Is that better? Yeah. So nice, deep breathing, softening in the nooks and crannies, starting to expand the space between the ribs. And go ahead and bend your knees. Put the soles of your feet back on the mat. And then turn the soles of the feet toward each other and let the knees drop open. You may or may not need support on the outsides of the legs. We're not going to stay quite as long as we would normally because the anterior tilt on the pelvis here is kind of big. And so there could be some pinching in the lower back. I want to make sure that if there's any kind of sensation that makes you feel unsure or uncertain about staying, call me over and let me help you make adjustments. And then let's see if we can take the arms all the way up, biceps near the ears, maybe even grab for opposite elbows over the head. Bending the elbows and grabbing opposite elbows and just really feeling the rib cage spread open and the spine elongate in the front. A beautiful back bend. A really, really beautiful back bend. Stretching in under the shoulders, opening in the hips, and just breathing free into all of the spaces. And again, just circling back to that idea of like, how are you? Some of us happier than others in this moment. Three more breaths right where we are. And then the first thing we'll do is start to bring the arms down. So take your time. Get them all the way down by your sides. Yeah, there might be a sound that goes with that. Yeah. And then tip the knees back up to the center. And then I'd like you to just kind of tip your whole body over to the right so you find yourself in fetal position on your right side. And that will actually take you off of the bolster or the blankets or the blocks. So you can kind of curl yourself up, like rounding head to knees, knees to head. How does that feel? It's in complete counter work to where you just were. Just see if you can feel that. The opposite energy. Like holding yourself upright and then slouching, right? We were open wide and now curled up. And just check in and be part of it. I kind of want you to think about your arms for a moment. And I want you to feel how you're resting on your right arm. But I want you to put your left hand on the floor right in front of you, like near your chest or your face. And I want you to literally push into your right elbow and your left hand. And notice how that really helps you up. Right elbow, left hand, push down into the floor and help yourself up. Yeah. I'm going to tell you a little story. I taught this in a private. It was a couple of teachers came to me to do some like hands-on, just private. They couldn't make it to one of my workshops and they asked me to like work with them one-on-one. And that was one of the things that I taught them, a transition from laying down to sitting up. And literally like 4 or 5 days later, a woman fell in a parking lot right in front of her. And she was able to use that to help the woman she was able to get her to calm down for a second. And they could tell that she wasn't really hurt. She was just kind of flustered and embarrassed. And they used that elbow hand to help her to come to sitting and then to come up to standing. So you really never know how this stuff we do in here on the mat is going to translate in life, like where is the value going to be? So just everything we do, just take it all in. These are our tools for all of the moments. We just really never know. I learned that from an aide I used to work with a woman with Parkinson's. And we very often did our work either in a chair or in the bed. And so if I needed to get her up out of the bed and into the chair, that was kind of how I could possibly get her to coordinate and get her core and to get herself up to seated without me having to give her a hand, because I was like, when I'm not here, you have to get up and go to the bathroom or whatever. You need to be able to do that yourself, So I share that with you for whatever way you use it, for yourself or for somebody else. Now, let's move that prop somewhere in front of us or to the side of us so we can see it. Actually, side. Put it right beside your legs. Yep. And then go ahead and lay yourself back down. We'll keep the knees bent. So we're going to come into bridge pose for just a moment. This is a little bit of muscular effort, but not too much. You're going to push into your feet and lift up your hips and then slide that bolster right in under your pelvis, or the 2 blankets, or a blanket on top of an egg, so you can put 2 eggs and put a blanket on top of it so it feels a little softer. Yeah. I want you to feel lifted and supported, but soft, like cushioned. Yep. And then go ahead and draw your knees into your belly. Oh, I love that. Isn't that so nice? So the hips are elevated, the tailbone is elevated, and that little curl in the pelvis, that is a completely different tilt. Instead of that anterior tilt, we're in a posterior tilt. And then let's see how it feels to open the hips a little bit wider. Open your knees. Yeah, keeping the knees wide and keeping that tailbone lifted. So to kind of pull the knees towards you. So your tailbone is kind of lifting a little bit away from the bolster. Hold your hands on your legs and squeeze them towards you. The idea is they're going that way. Yeah, going that way. That's it. And then we're going to open the feet and let the soles of the feet go up toward the ceiling and reach for our ankles. Let's make this softer. You lay down. Better? Yeah. And then when the knees come in, you'll see that cushioning matters. Yeah. Yep, and into happy baby. You okay there? Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely not our most attractive pose. Probably not a good place for the teacher to make you laugh either. Soles of the feet toward the ceiling, holding onto the ankles, and nice and wide. Grab right here. Yeah. keep a nice softness in the knees. And see if you can keep the feet over the knees so we don't have as much turnout. Yeah. Gravity will take your legs all the way if you let them. So think about 90 at the knees. Yeah. There you go. Want to bend them? A happy baby. So the pelvis feels that like tailbone up, that kind of stretching of the lower back. Yeah. Now, I want you to pull on the right leg a little more. So you kind of sink a little deeper on the right side. And you have that bolster under you, so you're not going to fall over, but kind of let yourself lean a little into the right. Continue holding the ankle so the feet aren't like in a free-for-all, flailing in the sky, right? Bend a little more. The feet don't have to be so open. The feet are right over the knees. Yeah. And we're kind of leaning into the right quarter, the lower quarter of the back. Think about your right kidney, your QL, your colon, your liver, right? All that's going on in that side. The leg close to the torso. Don't let everything go so wide. And lean a little bit in there. And so it's okay to create a little bit of pressure. It's part of the practice, actually. And then while you're in that, how does it feel? Immediately we go to, I like it, I don't like it. Like, what if you could be like, oh, I realize I'm putting a little pressure into all of those organs. So many of them are filtering and detoxing my body. I want to breathe a little bit deeper so I get more oxygen in my body while this is happening. And that little bit of pressure over a long period of time can create a really amazing change in our bodies. Soften wherever you can. And see if you can really be present for what's happening inside of you. And I think the pressure is always kind of nice, but the best part of those compressive forces is actually when we come out of them, right? And so as you lean your body weight back to center, feel the pressure release off of the lower right quarter. Stay in the center for at least a full cycle of breath, like a deep breath in, a complete breath out. And then we'll start to lean over to the other side. Lean this way, but hold them. There you go. Maybe grab your ankles instead of your feet so you don't have to reach so far, you know? Yeah. I feel like we can make that way more comfy. There. Does that help? Okay. Why? Yeah. And then a little. Yeah. And so as we change positions, what are you feeling? What can you notice about what's happening? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Which layers show themselves to you so easily? And which ones are not so easily revealed? I know that there is no perfection here, only experience. And so there's no way of doing it right. If you're really trying to do it right, maybe just let that go. Focus more on the way it feels. And so we lean in a little to that compressive force, that pressure that's happening on the left side in the lower quarter of your back body, the top of the glutes, maybe a touch of piriformis, the QL, like, not just your organs, but the musculature, all of the things. Let's deepen the breath. Send a little more oxygen in while we're clearing things out. Enjoy one more breath here. And then feel yourself leaning away from the left side and rocking back to the center. Oh, yeah. And now just stay where you are, but let go of your feet. Your heels can drop toward your bottom, but keep your legs basically where they are. Just kind of bend the knees. See if you can feel some of the tension letting go. So just bend your knees more, but keep your legs close to you. Yeah. Heels near your bottom. Yeah, so that everything relaxes. Go ahead, Gary. Bend your knees. Just don't put your feet down. Just, yep. You don't even have to hold them. Now, with your knees bent, it shouldn't be too far a journey to get your feet back onto the floor. So nice and slow, the feet kind of find their way. It feels a little far, but it's not really that far. And you'll feel some musculature let go once the feet touch down. Feel for that ease and that letting go. Yeah, I hear you. Yep. Yeah. Then go ahead and take the right leg straight down the mat. Oh, the opposite again. After all that flexion, we get some extension. And if for any reason that leg long feels like a pinching in the lower back or something doesn't feel right about it, try going a little wider with your leg. Yeah. If you're feeling okay, then maybe the left leg can go out too. And again, just like wait for the feel. Tune in and let yourself be in the feel. See if the legs can feel really relaxed and long. Just let the legs go. Does that feel okay in your lower back? And again, wider might give you a little bit less pulling, but narrower might give you a little more. So depending on your flexibility in the psoas and the way that pulling affects your lower back, you can adjust your feet wider or narrower. And again, it's all based on how you feel. It's not based on one being right or better or advanced, or one being wrong or bad or a beginner, right? It's just the way we are today. And so again, when we're asked, like, how are we? Let's see if we can practice internally answering with the truth. And isn't it amazing if we have just a handful of people in our lives that we can actually answer with the truth? I don't think the cashier at Publix wants to hear about your whole life. And then they ask, how are you? But you never know. They may be lonely. They may feel invisible all day. And if you just shared one little piece of yourself with them, it could change their life. Let's start taking the arms up. And if there's something behind you that you can't get your arms all the way to the floor, just sort of soften the elbows. Yeah, see if you can get the armpits exposed so the rib cage spreads, and we can enhance the breath work above the bolster or the block or whatever you have going on under you. Yeah. Breathe free. Like literally let your body enjoy the breathing. 23 out of the 24 hours today, you're just going to breathe with your autonomic nervous system. For this hour, can you really be in the breath? Can we shift or change or enhance it in some way that aids and assists this practice? Not only does that breath affect every cell in your body and every one of your 12 systems of your body, but it also becomes your focal point. It helps to discipline and narrow your attention. Let's take 3 more breaths. Breaths that hold your attention and serve your body in this moment. And as you complete the 3rd and final breath, just slowly bring your arms down. We'll bend one knee and put the sole of the foot flat. Just feel that first. Yeah, and then feel the other one bend. Yeah. And then draw the right knee into the belly. Give it a little squeeze. And then put it back on the mat. Bring the left knee into the belly. Give it a little squeeze. Important, yeah? You guys feel that? And go ahead and put that one down too. And at the same time, we'll lift both feet and extend both legs straight up in the air. Let your feet separate by an inch or 2, not too wide. And then soften behind the knees so you feel the weight of the leg bone kind of sink into the hips and into the prop beneath you. So it's just a softness in the knees, not quite a bend, not like happy baby. And if you can, send your feet a little bit away from you so your tailbone stays down. It'll keep the legs directly over the hip sockets. So if your feet are hanging over your belly or your face, send them away from you. Relax your ankles and your knees. So we don't want rigid legs, we want softness, and we want them kind of straight out over the pelvis. Yeah, and there's a little bit of work there. It's a little supported by the bolster, so it might be a little easier than normal, but we're just going to try. Relax the arms, relax the hands. Just let every bit of fluid drain out of your legs. The arms can be by your sides or up over your head, but you don't need to use the musculature to hold the arms in the air, unless it feels good. Certainly, you're welcome to do whatever you want. How about 5 more breaths here? Yeah, you count them. Be completely immersed in them. Notice how they serve you. And as you complete your 5th and final breath, bend the knees even more. And let the soles of your feet touch back down onto the mat. You may feel that flush, a rush of circulation back into your feet. Just pause for a moment with that. Do you guys feel that? Yeah, let's be with that for a moment. And then push into your feet. Your feet should be on the mat. And lift up enough to get the props out from under you. Slide them out to one side. And then let your pelvis down. That should be a good moment, actually. Yeah. And just stay put with it for a moment. Notice what you feel. See if you can relax everywhere. No clenching or gripping or holding. And then open your feet a little wider. The knees are bent and the soles of your feet are on the ground. It's a wide-legged, conscious resting pose. And let your knees kind of turn in towards center. Feet are wide, knees touch together in the middle. Feet wide, knees in the middle. Think about that. Yeah, there we go. And then soften your lower back, soften your belly. Counter poses, right? When we change something in the body, not only does it change what physical parts of the body are being touched, compressed, pulled, pushed, but it also changes the energetic flow. We have channels of energy in the body. And so we open and close the valves. We turn on and off the faucets. Yeah, and we're just letting everything move. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Maybe widen the feet a touch as you complete these last 3 breaths. And then go ahead and start to wiggle your feet toward the center. And let your knees open wide, soles of the feet together. It will feel different now that you're flat on your back. That anterior tilt of the pelvis is not really extreme. It's mild. And again, the arms can come up overhead. Supta Baddha Konasana. Reclining, bound angle pose. Embrace the space. Feet are together and knees are open wide. Norma, switch your feet to the center. Yeah, there you go. And of course, you can put support under the legs if you have eggs near you or a blanket nearby and you feel like you're overstretching or you're meeting too much tension, then we put support. Love and care and respect for all of the joint structures. In this way, we can actually work on healing and repairing rather than tearing at or injuring this very precious tissue. Let's take our arms straight up toward the ceiling and then wrap them across the chest and wrap your hands around toward the back of your body and give yourself a little hug. See if you can get your fingers toward your shoulder blades. Let the elbows drop toward the heart so your throat is clear and your breath is free. And as we cross tightly over the chest, we widen across the back. So send the breath up and into the space between your shoulder blades. As you expand and explore into that upper back, can you also feel the lower back breathing? Whenever we combine breath and movement together, we create an alchemy that somehow magically transforms our tension. And our yoga is simply asking us to be present for it, to really, truly notice how that feels. In all of your complexity, in all of the different ways. Go ahead and enjoy 3 more breaths. Allow them to feel complete in both directions. And then we'll slowly begin by releasing our arms kind of out like a T. Just, like soften them and reach them out wide to the sides. Don't worry about your neighbors. One arm can go a little higher and one a little lower so that you have space. And then really gently start to push into the pinky edges of your feet. Engage a little bit in your core and your pelvic floor and bring your legs back up and in. You don't have to lift your hips off the ground. Just lift your knees back to center. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, feel that. Yeah, I hear you. All of the sounds. Go ahead and take a collective inhalation and an expressive exhalation. Yeah. I think you should draw your knees to your belly. It's going to be a good time. Celebrate the little things. Become aware of the stiffness and the tension, where it abides and how it leaves the body. How sometimes the shapes that we take in the practice charge up the long, deeply held tensions, and little tiny bits of it start to effervesce and release. Go ahead and start to move organically. Rock from side to side, circle the knees, or just move your legs organically. Like, I can't really give you the right instructions here. It's more about you feeling. Again, you knowing and feeling and doing what you need to do based on your own intuition and your own relationship in your body. I love what I see. Everyone in the room is doing something different. And again, there is nothing that is advanced or beginner. There's nothing that's good or bad or right or wrong. It's just a moment for you to learn how to trust yourself and abide in the truth about how things feel. eventually, I'd like you to curl yourself up and roll to your left side. We did a fetal on the right earlier, so here we are balancing out a little side lying on the left side. Resting your head on your left arm. Let it be like a pillow for you. You might have a blanket or a block or a pillow near you you could use as well. But curl up a little bit. We've been exposed, wide open. And here, just for a moment, we lay on our sides in neutral. And just check in. What do you feel? How do you feel? Are you still with your breath? And so we're laying on our left side, and I want you to pull your knees up so they're no higher than your navel, but no lower than your hips. So think about that. That means they're kind of straight out. So if they're up near your chest, it's probably a little too high. Maybe bring the knees straight out in front of you. And then start to release your left arm straight out in front of your face. And the right arm is going to circle up toward the ceiling and then over into a spinal twist. So the chest opens, we look to the right, and we place our arms out wide like a T. And this is optional, but I'm going to offer it to you. Sometimes when I twist from the upper body like this, I kind of feel like I want to go a little bit further. So my legs will stay exactly as they are. But what I can do is push a little bit into my elbows and then turn my chest and my ribs to the right a little bit more. And then look to the right. Did you guys feel that? That tiny little... That's the thoracic spine. That's the part that we don't get to enough. And see if you can just soften into it. If there are any props around you and you have a particular way that you like to use them in a twist, feel free. I think you're probably fine where you are. So don't fuss unless it's easy. And if it doesn't feel or look easy, but you want something, just raise your hand. We'll come and do it for you. And your work, as it has been the whole time, is to check in with all of the parts of you. Are we still committed to the quality of the breathing, affecting a really powerful change in the breath for this 1 hour? Can we use the breath to enhance our work physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Is the breath part of your bliss? Is it just perpetuating the perfectionism? How are we using it? If for any reason you're trying to squeeze your legs together, just soften the root of the leg bone so the hips relax, and then the legs will just be where they need to be. If you give up some of your twists, so be it. I give up spinal twist for relaxation every day. You're still in a beautiful and full rotation. We're just learning about letting go so we don't have to keep trying. There are beautiful layers to our experience. And honestly, the longer I do this practice, the more complex I realize that I am. But the simpler it is to just go in, to go inward and navigate this inner world, to become acquainted with all of the layers that make me uniquely me. And sometimes I like what I find, and sometimes not so much. But if this is truly a journey of self-realization, I think we have to be willing to look. So we have to be willing to answer in the truth, like, how are we? Who are we? What do we do unconsciously, and what can we do consciously? Our lives are blessed with free will and choice. And there's power in that. And every one of you chose to be here today to do this work. Let's go ahead and turn our heads around to the left. Bring the right arm up and over and soften onto your left side. Yeah, feel that. Just say it. Sometimes that's my answer when I ask myself, how am I? That's the sound I make. Slowly and gently roll onto your back. Pause on your back for a moment. Take a clearing breath. Make a sound if you have one. Yeah, and then go ahead and roll to your right side. No drama, just preparing for the other side. Any props you need or not, clear them away. Make sure your knees are pulled up by your hips. No higher than your navel, no lower than your hip bones. And then go ahead. Start to reach the right arm straight out, the left one straight up, and begin to open up into your twist. Feel your body take on this shape and this form. Notice what clenches and grips and what lets go. Choose this instead. This is too high. Better? Okay. So what do you discover? So we're in our spinal twist to the right side now. Looking to the left. And just allowing maybe new layers of you to be revealed. And so we breathe. We pull in our awareness and our attention, and we feel. And there are different aspects. There's our physical form, there's our energy body, right? There's our intellect and our emotions, our thoughts. Go ahead and take another deep breath in and a complete breath out. And then bring your head to the center and lift that left arm and curl yourself back up on your right side for just a moment. You can feel subtleties under the surface. It's your energy body. It's the way the fluids move. It's the way energy transfers through the bones. It's the way the tissues fall. Just see if you can be present for it. And then when you're ready, roll onto your back and you pause on your back for a moment. Feet on the ground, head on the ground. Let the natural curves of your spine reestablish. And so in this moment, how are you? Are you okay? And so I think if we ended at this moment, I would be afraid to let you drive home. And so we played a lot with our hips elevated and our legs in the air. For right now, I'd like you to come to Viparita Karani, which would mean a knees to the belly moment. Make sure your lower back feels nice and wide and flat. And then we're going to extend our legs straight up, right over the hips. The knees are a little bit soft and the weight of the leg bone sits in the hip socket. See if you can do it without anything underneath. Yeah. And then take your arms straight up too. So your arms and your hands are over your shoulders. Your legs and your feet are over your hips. Some of you know what's coming. Yeah. Go ahead and start to shake. Shake your fingers and your toes and your wrists and your ankles and your knees and your elbows. There's nothing stiff about this. Everything starts to shake. The legs and the arms shake so much that your torso starts to shake. Come on, don't be shy. I want you to, like, if you were talking, like if I were doing this right now, my voice would be like going like that because every part of me will be moving. Yeah. So shake it, 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 shake it. Don't be shy. Come on. Dead bug. Give everything you can. If you don't turn over, you know you're a goner. Yeah, come on, your torso. You need to rock your body so that maybe you could flip over. Yep, everything is 7, 6. I'm going to pause for a moment because I'll start counting again in a moment, but look at me. Yeah, start making sound. Start making sound. Everything comes out. Everything shakes out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Soften it. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring your feet down. Bring your arms down. Yeah, Lisa and I are going to come around with the cloths. It was perfect timing. Yep. And then just let everything settle. Slide yourself out into Shavasana. See if you can feel the prana alive in you. Do you feel your cells dancing? Yeah. Let your face smile. Let your heart smile. And then imagine every one of those cells that you feel dancing, they're that little yellow emoji thing, that smiley face. Your whole body is filled with them. Yes, you feel alive and vibrant. You're so welcome. And it's because we are allowed to feel joy. We are allowed to create it and sustain it. And we can let go of our tension without guilt. We don't have to hold the things that don't serve us. We were meant to be free, to use our tools to release the burdens of life. You're welcome. Let's start to bring back the breath, maybe even some gentle movement. So we slowly awaken any way that we wish. There's no right or wrong way to move, just what suits you. I actually thought about cueing you in some stretches before you come up, and I'm like, yep, no, I think you guys know what you need. And so as you come to sit, just check in and see how you are. All of you, not just your physical body. Was there a shift emotionally, mentally? And sometimes the shifts are for the better and sometimes not. Have you ever had a class that sort of unrooted something in you that maybe you didn't plan on, you know? But it happens and it's part of our processing, right? So check in with how you are. If you're going to be a little more sensitive today when you leave the mat, you should kind of know that before you start in any kind of big conversations with people you love, or like, or maybe avoid those today, or maybe you get up the strength to say the thing that you've been holding on to and not saying. Like, let's be aware. Let's be aware of how the yoga lives in us and how we can live into the yoga more fully. That's a drop the mic kind of statement. Let's close on that. Hands together at the heart. Breathe in with me. Oh.